Now let's move on to the worst character portrayal. Yes, I felt like I should compliment films before I go and I rip holes in actors. Literally, for destroying some good characters. Yeah, worst character portrayal. These are characters that an actor or actress had to play and screwed it up massively. So, why not start off with perhaps one of my favourite characters from Kick-Ass, and that is Todd. Who got this guy to play him? What was his name, like Clements? Or I don't know why I was going to think Clementine, but I can understand that they couldn't have got Evan Peters. Evan Peters was busy filming American Horror Story, but this guy was dreadful. He didn't have like the same amount of Todd in him that Evan Peters did. Evan Peters portrayed the character as someone who wasn't the brightest, but his heart and mind was always in the right place. He just didn't know really how to go ahead of it. He could be smart. Sometimes he isn't. But why did they get this guy to play him for? He looks like 10 times older than the rest of them for some reason. He looks like he's in his 20s. He looks like a 20-year-old man that's just hanging around with Dave. And I can just imagine that now. And Dave's just walking around, and then Todd's following him, and the next thing Mindy comes along, and she's just like, hi Dave. It's your friend. And she's like, oh, that's Todd. No, Dave, that's a 20-year-old man. It's like, actually, no, you're not. You look like 20. I mean, yes, Aaron Johnson's in his 20s. He's like 25 or something. Yet he makes himself look like a teenager. He can look like a teenager. Not Todd. The guy that plays Todd in this, he looks too old to be like. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's in his 30s. That's how old he is. Plus his portrayal, Todd just seems like an asshole in this. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Thanks, Hancock. Couldn't resist doing that again. But I'm not going to go on ranting forever, but yes. Next time, if they're going to make a Kick-Ass 3 or a Hit Girl film or anything and Todd's in it, don't get this guy back. Get Evan Peters back. Or get someone else. Seriously. They're just doing it completely wrong. I'm not even going to mention what Todd does in the actual film. I don't know whether that was Jeff Ladler or whether that was just the guy that's playing him just being... Actually, I think if Evan Peters had actually played him, then that scene would have been fine in which he portrays Kick-Ass. Or at least Evan Peters would have at least done it good enough. Let's move on now to Lois Lane, Man of Steel. Oh my god, this is actually quite a depressing one. Because Lois Lane was casted perfectly for Man of Steel. It was Amy Adams playing her. And Amy Adams, if you watch her in The Fighter and some of her films, you know that she can play Lois Lane. Yeah, I think it's through the writing and everything. I mean, to start off with, she was Lois Lane. She felt like Lois Lane, but for the rest of it, she just disappeared. Lois Lane disappeared. And I don't know what it was. It just seemed to replace her, and she was just like, yeah, I'm not Lois Lane anymore. At the start of it, she was confident. She was like, she was confident. I can't remember. My head's not working. Sorry. But at the start of Man of Steel, she was confident. She basically knew what she was doing. But for the rest of it, she's just like, oh, Superman. We're gonna kiss some dead bodies. Okay. I don't care. I'm just gonna get myself into trouble a lot. For some reason, I'm gonna follow Zod into a spaceship. I don't know why he asked for me. Why am I interviewing him? I don't know. Last year doesn't make sense. As much as I like the film, it just doesn't make sense. Oh. Right, let's now move on to the funniest scene, just to have some light-hearted humour in there. Or maybe not, maybe... Let's move on to the funniest scene and make us laugh a bit. pretty much the title explains it all. Funniest scene is the funniest scene. It's just one of the funniest scenes of last year. Let's move straight into it and go into the World's End. From the World's End. Oh, this was really funny. Basically, and as soon as they enter the World's End and they speak to the aliens, they've had like Simon Pegg's characters had all 12 pints, so he's really drunk, and he is talking to aliens. And this is where he comes away with the amazing line of Legoland line. Anyway, this is where he came away with the hat. And it was just so funny. It was ridiculous. And the fact that they were all drunk and were saying all this stuff that they probably wouldn't have said in real life. In real life, they would have thought about it. I mean, when they're drunk, they're basically just saying stuff like, "You can't tell us what to do. You can't." I'm surprised that Piers Gargan wasn't in that scene, just going, "You can't tell me what to do because you aren't my mum. You're not my mum. You're a liar." I do like that part. I believe her. But yeah, this scene was really funny. It made me laugh constantly. I think I was actually crying. That's how much I was laughing. Yeah, so let's move on. Next to the motherfuckers intro from Kick-Ass 2. Yeah, okay, this scene is probably one of the funniest I've ever seen. I couldn't stop laughing at it, but they've done it so well. Basically, you're more laughing at what the motherfucker's suit is. You're not laughing at the character. It's more the fact that he's wearing a special sex suit. Yeah, my head's not working. I can't remember the exact name for it, so I can't be bothered researching it or anything. That'd actually be quite weird. I can just imagine that in my search history. Oh god. But yeah, this scene was so funny. But through Jeff Wadlow and the way he directed it, for the rest of the film, I didn't even realise that he was wearing this suit. I just got immersed into the whole chaos that was going through it, and that made this film all the better. Because they had a really funny joke at the start, which could have destroyed the character. As much as you don't take him seriously in the whole film, at no point are you ever thinking, God, this guy will not kill. This guy won't kill anyone. This guy is actually resulting in the deaths of many people, and you instantly know, right, this guy could actually kill Kick-Ass, and stuff like that could happen. So I'm glad that they done that. That was brilliant. This scene was amazing. It was really funny. Now let's move on to the final battle of Anchorman 2. I don't even. I don't know what happened in this scene. There was like Jim Carrey in it. Like, and this team, basically, it was the same with the first battle with all the stuff happening in Anchorman, and then they added everything in the second one. I mean, Harrison Ford is a Minotaur, and Brick's running around with, I don't even know what he's running around with. This scene was so funny. I mean, there was like, I'm pretty sure if I watched it again, I would be laughing at completely different stuff. There was so much stuff happening in this scene. It was so funny. Yeah, really funny scene. Made me laugh completely. Yeah. Brilliant. So now let's move on to the best score. Despite the fact that the score has nothing to do with the funniest scene, well, maybe it does. It does, actually, considering that we have to have music in order to make it work. Music makes a film work completely. It works perfectly if it's done right. And these are some of the best scores that I love to listen to in spare time, or that just get the mood of the film completely. Starting off with Man of Steel. Okay, this score was perfect. If there's one thing amazing about Man of Steel, it was the score. I mean, Hans Zimmer just pulled it off perfectly. It felt like Superman throughout the entire film. Through this score, I mean, if you complain about the writing, the actions in the film, anything like that, you cannot complain about the score as much as you would like. As much as you like the original score. I'm not saying this one's better, but you cannot deny that this score is brilliant and that it perfectly captures Superman in the score. Right, let's now move on to Kick-Ass 2. Yes, okay, the score for the Kick-Ass was brilliant. Score for the second Kick-Ass, even better. When it got in, there was some music that wasn't that good. They captured it in the film, not that good to listen to outside, but there was some. See, when it got it right, it got it perfect. For instance, the music that played in the back when Chris D'Amico is visiting his uncle. That tune is perhaps one of the best tunes I have heard in a while. It's brilliant and it captures the dark mood of the film, everything perfectly. Loved it. Definitely worth listening to this tune or this score.
Thank you for that. I needed it. For what comes next.
Don't be stupid, Chris. Just get out of town for a while. Go to college or something.
Why? You just taught me everything I needed to know.
Next, and finally, Looper. Yes, okay, this one was a bit, no-brainer. Considering I did mention in the review that it's probably one of my favourite scores, and I still stand by it. I love the score to this. It perfectly captured everything in the film. It's amazing how it's done with hardly any instruments, mainly all average day items, and it feels very futuristic. Perfect score.